Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back. Another installment of Scott's Selections here for Thursday, August 8th. Before we get into the play of the day, we'll quickly recap what happened yesterday. Unfortunately, we picked up a loss with the San Diego Padres and the Seattle Mariners over 9.5. Both pitchers came into the contest with very underwhelming numbers lately since the All-Star break, and Lucchesi and Kikuchi both pitched well. Padres lineup, besides Tatis, was pretty much useless, and they ended up only scoring 2 runs. But it happens. Overall, it's kind of upsetting because of the fact that all of the plays I personally liked in the early part of the card ended up winning. But because it took so long for me to actually make the video because I had some errands to run, I ended up missing all of those plays and had to give out something on the remainder of the card, which ended up losing. So I hate it when that happens, but that's why I decided to get this video out a little bit earlier than usual, just so I can make sure to cover the play of the day, to give all of you an ample amount of time to get the play in before it was too late. Now, as some of you might have known, I'm a big fan of betting exhibition games, whether it involves the Summer League or the preseason. We're already 1-0 in the preseason, but we are going to be looking at another preseason NFL matchup today as mainstream preseason finally gets underway, excluding the Hall of Fame game. And the game we're going to be looking at is between the Indianapolis Colts and the Buffalo Bills, which will be taking place at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And in terms of this game, we like the Indianapolis Colts at -2.5, which is available at -105 at Intertops. If you've already watched the preseason tips video that I gave out a couple of days ago, then you will probably know where I'm going with this, but I'm going to lay it out with the Colts in particular. First of all, I'm a huge fan of the line movement in this game. The Colts opened up at +1 a couple of days ago. They're all the way up to -2.5. And market-wide, it's pretty much at -110 or -112. But Intertop still has it at 2.5 at -105, and that's going to be the main line that we're going to use. But the line has already shifted 3.5 points, and I definitely think that shows that Indianapolis is going to be the right side in this game. The second reason why we like Indianapolis involves the amount of cluster injuries on Buffalo to its offensive line. Adrian Wadley is officially on the IR. He was supposed to be a starter, but he is now out indefinitely. Not to mention the fact that Buffalo also currently has injuries to John Feliciano and Spencer Long, one of them being a guard, one of them being a center, and they are both likely to be missing this contest. So overall, Buffalo's got a lot of issues with the offensive line, which should lead to some serious issues moving the ball. I know that Andrew Luck will not be playing for the Colts. However, in the rest of their depth chart, they still have Jacoby Brissett. They still have Chad Kelly, and they also have Philip Walker, the rookie quarterback from Temple. Now, I know that depth chart doesn't sound amazing. However, that does mean that there is going to be a quarterback battle for the third spot on the depth chart between Chad Kelly and Philip Walker, and I definitely believe that the added competition should lead to some better performances from the bottom half of the depth chart. And because of the fact that Kelly, Brissett, and Walker are mobile, I definitely think that should help the Colts move the ball late in the second half, as if plays break down, they simply have the ability to create something on their own. In terms of Buffalo's depth chart, you have Josh Allen, of course, being the starter, Matt Barkley being the second stringer, and Tyree Jackson, rookie out of Buffalo, being the third stringer. Buffalo already announced that they will be using their starters for the first quarter of the game, according to their coach. But at the same point, Buffalo's had so many issues with their offensive line that I really don't think it matters if Josh Allen plays or not. Sean McDermott, the coach of the Bills, said that Buffalo will be playing its starters. However, there were some quotes involved with Josh Allen where they pretty much addressed the fact that they've been dealing with a ton of injuries to the offensive line and how he's not really sure on how the line will end up doing. But according to Josh Allen, here's a quote real quick with regard to the offense being a work in progress at this point in time. He said, quote, "I think we are getting there. I'm not going to say it's there yet. Obviously, we aren't playing a real team and we won't know, so I'm anxious to see how we do on Thursday. It's going to be a good little starting points for us, and we're going to work out all the kinks. I'm just excited to play on Thursday, get knocked around a little bit, and give the ball to some of our playmakers and see if we can make plays." So that doesn't exactly sound like a great bet-on quote from a starting quarterback when he says that our offense still has some kinks in it, and he also says, "I think we're getting there on offense, but we're not there yet." I definitely don't think that that's a good sign for the Bills on offense, and I would not be surprised to see them score less than, I'd say, 17 points in this game. The amount of injuries they have to the offensive line, the fact that Josh Allen will be playing week 1, but the fact that he comes out publicly and says, I don't really know how we're going to do, and our offense hasn't looked that great so far, but maybe we'll figure it out. That doesn't exactly sound like a good quote for me, and I think that's definitely a sign of why the money has poured in on the Colts. Buffalo, I think they're going to try with their first team in the first quarter to get something going, but at the end of the day, I think their offensive line issues and their injuries will be their undoing, and I think at the end of the day, they will be unable to move the ball against the Colts' second and third string options due to their lack of depth to the offensive line. And for that reason, I definitely think Brissett is serviceable as a starting quarterback in the first half. Plus, I also like Chad Kelly. I know that he's had some issues with regard to off the field stuff, but at the same point, he has actually been decent in preseason in the past with Denver, and he does have the ability to move the chains with his arm and his legs. And Philip Walker, was I a great fan of him at Temple? No, but he was serviceable, and he could still use his mobility to create some added opportunities in the pocket. So I definitely think the Colts are the right side here, and the Colts minus 2.5 will be the play of the day, which is available at minus 105 at Intertops. Now, in terms of the leans on the rest of the card, not that many baseball matchups today on Thursday, but in terms of the card itself, I'd have to lean to the over 10.5 in the Yankees game. It's Germán versus Pannoni. Germán, although he's 7-1 on the road, he's got an ERA north of 5 on the road, and Pannoni will be making his first home start of the season. The Yankees scored 14 runs yesterday. They set the record for most home runs in an opposing team's ballpark in a single season. That's what you get for facing Orioles pitching. However, Toronto has not looked great lately. I know they did beat Tampa Bay yesterday. Pannoni's not a great pitcher. The Yankees lineup's hitting it on all cylinders right now, and Germán has not been amazing on the road. So I lean to the over 10.5. I think the Yankees should score at least 7 runs. I think Toronto's capable of scoring at least 4 runs. Lean to the over on that one. In terms of other baseball cards, really not that great of a card in itself. I will lean to the under 9.5 between the Cubs and the Reds here. Alex Wood's actually been pretty solid since coming off of the injured list, and Cole Hamels got injured in his last time he faced Cincinnati in the first inning. But he is back now, and I definitely think he will pitch well in this one. Cincinnati's offense has been serviceable in the last week or so, but at the same point, I definitely think Hamels is an above-average pitcher, and I think he should pitch well in this one. Lean to the under 9.5 there. And lastly, I will lean to the Rockies on the money line here against San Diego. Lauer was okay in his last start against the Dodgers, but at the same point, he has not been great, to say the least, in terms of his overall, the Padres just didn't really impress me over the last couple of days, and yesterday was the cherry on top, so to speak, as their offense did absolutely nothing besides let Tatis get stranded on base. John Gray's actually been decent for the Rockies so far this season, and the Rockies have played a little bit better lately. I'm going to give him a pass for getting killed by Houston over the last couple of days, because I think every team would get killed by Houston nowadays. So overall, I'll lean to the Rockies there. I think they are getting some value here at a small plus price. So my 3 leans in baseball will be on the Rockies, the under 9.5 in the Reds game, and the Yankees over 10.5. And in terms of some of the other preseason matchups going on today, I originally thought about giving out the the Redskins as the play of the day, but at the same point, there's something a little bit odd with this line movement, and I'm not going to touch it. Money's poured in on the Redskins here. I think it makes sense. I wrote an article for StatSalt a couple of days ago where I said I had the Redskins winning this game. Main reason is quarterback depth. Dwayne Haskins, the rookie, has been listed as the 3rd stringer on the depth chart. And although people might be outraged in terms of the regular season, for preseason, that is actually golden news for the Redskin bettors, as that means that Dwayne Haskins should be playing a decent amount in the second half, which should help the Redskins potentially cover. However, Cleveland in their last 8 preseason games are 7-1 straight up. And I know Baker Mayfield will probably not be playing in this game. But overall, Cleveland has a good track record, so I have to wonder how much the Redskins actually care about this game. And Cleveland, I know, cares about the preseason because of their recent track record and because of the fact that they still have expectations, but they still have to address some concerns on their depth chart. So I would not be surprised to see Cleveland try more than people anticipate. Does the line movement surprise me? No. If I personally had to lean on it, I'd lean to the Redskins. But Redskins have not looked good in preseason in recent years, and Cleveland has. So I'm going to personally pass, but I would lean to the Redskins on that one. Other than that, I lean to the over in the Titans and Eagles game, as the total's been bet up from 35 all the way up to 37, but it is at 36.5 at Intertops and Heritage. In terms of that game, I'd simply lean to the over because of the line movement. I think it's sharp money, and I definitely think that if you are getting 2 points of movement on a preseason game, odds are that's probably the right side to look at. But those are going to be my main preseason leans. In terms of the play of the day, though, we will be taking the Indianapolis Colts -2.5, which is available at -105 at Intertops. But actually, as I say that, so that will be the play of the day. And before we conclude today's video, quick reminder of our sponsor, PointsBet, all in sportsbook in New Jersey. A couple of great deals for you. Up to 2 risk-free bets up to $1,000. So if you end up betting on any sports, preseason, soccer, WNBA, baseball, anything, Canadian football, and you lose, you simply get your money back, which is a great promo that I wish more sportsbooks would use. Other than that, that's going to do it for this installment of Scott's Selections here for Thursday, August 8th. I'm going to look to all of you and your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.